What's up, y'all? More grace. Now I know Prophet Carn spoke a word, which was okay. Some days went by, months, because that was New Year's night, and some stuff happened lately. Basically, there's been a shift. Now keep in mind, when you put your mouth on God's people, you're doing that because you want to. When you're speaking directly from the throne, it's not you, it's God speaking. So that's why you have to be cautious and stay in prayer, because if you don't, you get out that word, you get in the flesh, you're going to get in trouble. That's what Prophet Carn said yesterday. So I was sitting here and I'm eating, and the Lord said, you must expose him. I said, Lord. I didn't say nothing. I was just like, because y'all heard what I just said, right? So he said, you must expose him, and I will not judge you if you do so. Meaning the word that he spoke won't fall upon me, because I'll be in line with him, who's over him. And this is the word. This is the exposure. Y'all see me make videos about how people been talking in the atmosphere saying I'm going to jail. But I've been to the police, I've been through the airport, I've all kind of stuff, and there's no warrants out for my arrest. I hear the Lord saying there's none, son. So I go to church, and then on top of that, not to mention the beginning of me going to KCC 8 months ago, back in the summertime. Pastor Butler asked a question. He said, you ain't got no warrants, do you? But he asked me. He was ministering the word, but he began to speak. He said, some people are walking in authority but are illegitimate, and they got a warrant out for their arrest. He said, look at your neighbor and say, you ain't got no warrants, do you? And I'm like, okay, I know I don't. So, and I hear God. I really do hear God. So, Prophet Carn spoke this yesterday. He was saying, some people got to go through the process. But really, he was subliminally throwing off on me the whole message, because there's been a shift at KCC. And I hear the Father saying he's not with me anymore. So most people who preach subliminal messages, I hear the Lord saying, you have spoken truth. Okay. Because I started wondering, like, did I hear right? And he said, you spoken truth. So, okay. So that's all I wanted to say. Just to let y'all know, what I heard God say was not what Prophet Carn heard from God about me going to jail for something I didn't do. And I never got a response or reply as to why there were so many witches at KCC. But that nobody's perfect. As if we don't know we're not supposed to tolerate witches and warlocks and curses, according to K. Bauchi, or different Africans that pray against witchcraft all the time and have to scatter witches and all this type of stuff. Like, it's not real no more when I come to KCC. Even what Apostle DARRYL MCCOY preaches about sin and things of that nature, which Prophet Carn used to preach about, and he don't preach about no more. He preaches about the grace of God. But DARRYL MCCOY spoke a message yesterday, before I even watched KCC Charlotte, exposing Prophet Carn, saying that, you can't use grace as a license to sin, and Prophet Carn is steady saying, God ain't mad at you, he love you, God ain't mad at nobody. I'm like, no, because I used to play with God. He was mad at me. So it's one thing if you're not perfect and you got issues. It's another thing where you sin on purpose and you practice sin while saying, I am a child of God. That sounds like what I used to do. That's all I wanted to say. I've done what God told me to do. I'm not saying nothing else. Amen. Shalom. More grace. More submission.